Today, we're going to crack open the big ideas from Daniel Walter's book, The Power of Discipline. And this book makes a pretty bold claim that there's one single skill that, if you can master it, can totally reshape your life from the inside out. So let's just jump right in.
You know this feeling, right? We've all been there. You set a goal. Maybe it's eating healthier, hitting the gym, finally finishing that big project. You know exactly what you need to do. But when that moment of truth arrives, you just don't. Why? Why is there this giant canyon between what we want to do and what we actually end up doing?
Well, according to the book, it's because we're looking for the answer in all the wrong places. We sit around waiting for motivation to strike us like a bolt of lightning. But here's the thing about motivation. It's a fair weather friend. It shows up when things are easy and fun. The real key, the one that works rain or shine, is discipline. And it's probably not what you think it is.
Okay, so before we dive into the how-to, let's talk about the why. I mean, what's the payoff here? What does a disciplined life actually get you? Because believe me, it's a whole lot more than just ticking boxes on a to-do list.
A life that's built on discipline, it changes everything, both inside and out. Internally, think about it. When you start keeping the promises you make to yourself, your self-confidence just skyrockets. And externally, people start to see you as dependable, as someone they can trust, which makes your relationships so much stronger. You also get tougher, you know? Criticism stops feeling like a personal attack and starts feeling like useful feedback. And maybe most importantly, you get the self-control to sidestep those impulsive, risky behaviors that can really mess things up.
All right, so how do we get there? It all starts with one absolutely crucial shift in your mindset. We have got to stop thinking about discipline as some kind of magical superpower that you're either born with or you're not. And this right here reframes the entire game. I mean, if discipline was just an inborn trait, then you'd be stuck, right? You either have it or you don't. But the reality is so much more empowering. It's a skill. And just like any other skill, like learning to play the guitar or speaking a new language, it's something you can build with practice and effort.
And get this isn't just some feel-good pop psychology, it's actually baked into our biology. Our brains are literally wired for this. Brain scans have shown that when we choose a long-term benefit over some instant gratification, specific parts of our brain actually light up. So every single time you make one of those disciplined choices, you are physically strengthening those connections. You are literally training your brain for success.
This really gets to the core of what discipline is all about. It's the ability to delay gratification. You probably heard about that famous Stanford marshmallow experiment, right? The kids who could wait and resist eating one marshmallow right away to get two later on, well, they tended to have way better outcomes in life. That simple ability to wait for a better reward, that's the foundation of success. But, okay, if it's a skill, why do we fail so often? Well, a huge part of the answer is something called willpower fatigue. The best way to think about it is that your self-control is like a muscle. And if you spend your entire day using that muscle, resisting the donuts in the break room, ignoring your phone's notifications, saying no to online sales, that muscle gets tired. It gets exhausted. So by the time you get home, it's no wonder it's so much harder to make that last good choice, like going to the gym instead of just crashing on the couch. And you know, it gets even trickier than that. It's not just about a tired willpower muscle. Our own minds have these little built-in booby traps, these cognitive biases that are actively working against our best intentions. This is a big reason why change is so ridiculously hard. But here's the thing. These biases aren't your fault. They're not personal failings. They are just universal quirks of being human. And simply knowing that they exist, being able to put a name to them, that is the first and most powerful step to taking away their power over you. So, trap number one is the status quo bias. Our brains are hardwired to love what's familiar. Even if your current situation is making you miserable, it's a familiar misery. The idea of changing things brings up all this uncertainty that feels dangerous, so our brain instinctively fights against it, even when the change is for the better. Then you've got the sunk cost fallacy. This is that little voice in your head that says, well, I've already put 5 years into this career, I can't just leave now. Or I've already eaten half this pizza, might as well finish it. We make our choices based on what we've already invested in the past, instead of what's best for our future, and it keeps us completely stuck. And finally, there's the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is where we're basically blind to our own weaknesses. So someone who's actually terrible with money might honestly think they're a financial genius. When it comes to discipline, we might seriously overestimate our ability to resist temptation, which leads us to make these grand plans that are just doomed from the start because we haven't been honest about our own limits.
So, knowing all this, the biology, the rewards, and the sneaky mind traps, what do we actually do about it? Well, the book's answer is actually really simple and elegant. It's all about focusing on consistency, not intensity.
So here's the 3-step game plan. First, stop acting like your willpower is superhuman. It's not. Instead, design your environment to make the good choices the easy choices. If you don't want to eat junk food, don't have it in your house. Simple. Second, aim for small, consistent wins. Seriously, a 15-minute walk every single day is way more powerful than one heroic 2-hour workout once a month. It's all about building momentum. And third, you have to learn to love the process itself. Find satisfaction in the act of making that tough but better choice, even when you don't feel like it.
This really just sums it all up, doesn't it? This isn't about being a hero for a day. It's about being reliable to yourself, day in, day out. That is where real, lasting change comes from. It's those small, boring, repeated actions that stack up and build the life you actually want to live.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about the massive, life-altering changes for just a second. What is one tiny, almost laughably small but consistent choice you can commit to making starting right now, today? Because that, right there, is where the real power of discipline begins.